What are you telling yourself about yourself when you're experiencing anxiety or worry about a performance or a presentation? And how are your thoughts affecting you? When we're anxious or nervous, there are usually many thoughts running in our minds. If you're performing, presenting, or speaking, these thoughts may fall into any of these four categories: your audience, viewers, or listeners, your material, your instrument, your body, your voice, connected with that, the room, acoustics, light, or the technology you're using, and thoughts about yourself. My name is Judith Pfeiffer. I'm a classical pianist and a certified facilitator of the Work of Byron Katie. I know from personal experience that performing, presenting, and speaking can be exciting and fun, and it can be absolutely terrifying. Let's see what makes the difference. I invite you to a 4-step process. Take a snapshot of a stressful moment, identify the thoughts, question the thoughts, and turn the thoughts around. That's the Work of Byron Katie. So I invite you to go to a moment where you experienced anxiety or stress about performing or presenting or speaking, and identify the thoughts. For now, let's focus on thoughts about ourselves. You may find thoughts like, I'm afraid I'm not good enough. I'm afraid I'll mess up. I want to impress. I should be better prepared. I shouldn't mess up. I need to prove that I'm good enough, that I belong here, that I'm talented enough, that I'm prepared enough. I'm a fraud. I'm a failure. I'm not good enough. And now we're taking one of these thoughts and question it. Let's take the thought, I shouldn't mess up. Go to a moment where you believed the thought that you shouldn't mess up, and maybe this was a moment where you didn't do well, where you did mess up. In that moment, you shouldn't mess up. Is that true? The answer is either yes or no. They're equal. Can you absolutely know that it's true that you shouldn't mess up? The answer is again yes or no. What happens and how do you react when you believe the thought that you shouldn't mess up? And I invite you to pause the video if you like to take more time to explore how this thought affects you. So what comes up for me is when I believe the thought I shouldn't mess up, I feel pressure, stress, anxiety, tightness in my chest, in my throat, shallow breathing, sweaty hands, pit in my stomach. I feel insecure. I experience self-doubt. I feel what I've done up until now wasn't good enough. It costs me my connection to the music, my joy, my confidence. You can also explore how this thought has affected your life. So how have you lived your life believing that you shouldn't mess up? Are you getting in touch with the stress, with the pressure, how hard you've been trying? The last question is, who would you be without the thought, I shouldn't mess up? I'm noticing a bit of resistance. This thought is so old, so familiar. I've had that since childhood. It seems strange and almost scary to let go of it. There is a bit of fear if I would work as hard or as well or prepare as well if I didn't have the thought. That comes up for you too. I invite you to contemplate that. You may have used this thought as a motivator as well. And I invite you to question, can you really know that you need this thought, the pressure of this thought to motivate you? You may find that you would work or prepare well anyway, just because you care. So who are you in your moment without the thought, I shouldn't mess up? What comes up for me is that I would be freer, more relaxed, calmer, more open to accepting mistakes, more humble to accept that I'm not a perfect performer, more excited about playing, more connected to the music, more playful, and more interested in the journey of performing than a perfect outcome. The last step is to turn the thought around to its opposite. The opposite to I shouldn't mess up is I should mess up. This may sound strange, and I invite you to try it on. What is a genuine example for I should mess up? What comes up for me is that I can never do any better than I am doing in any given moment. So it seems much kinder and more realistic to say, I should mess up if I happen to mess up. I also saw how much stress and tightness this thought brings into my life. So it feels healthier and better and more accepting and more loving to let go of the thought I shouldn't mess up and to say I should mess up. If it's about my learning, then I can find I should mess up because that may help me to discover and to explore different practice techniques, different preparation techniques, or different ways of attitudes toward performing. I should mess up. Maybe it's for me to realize that this was not the right piece, or these were not the right circumstances, or it wasn't the right timing for me. I should mess up so that I get to learn about and that I get to practice self-acceptance, self-love, letting go of unrealistic expectations of myself, letting go of my perfectionism. I should mess up. Well, I have experienced that it's absolutely possible to be in the music, with the music, connected to the music, and play expressively with mistakes. So I should mess up so that I get to experience more of that and that I don't lose sight of that it's about my love for the music, my connection to the music, and my wish to express the music more so than a perfect outcome. I will put more information about the work of Byron Katie in the comments, and I hope that this supports you in your journey. Take good care of your beautiful self.